Oh, how's that going?
I kind of like the guys that they have on the team. They're not very good, but, you know, I think you guys have a team that you could like if you let yourself do it.
I am letting myself embrace the fact that Alonzo Trier, one of our up-and-coming young guys, you know what happened. We got on Twitter. Alonzo Trier is, in fact, an Asian-American man who I could not be prouder to welcome to this fine city.
I don't know how to break this to you, but we've seen him. We could tell.
You know, some people have trouble. Some have trouble. I know we have a relationship. I've been coaching you up on that, but a first name, the Jaguars. Jacksonville got crushed 30-9 by the Titans last night, Bo, and Ian Rappaport reports today that Blake Bortles is likely gone after this season. So do the Jags need to start over, and how much of this lands on head coach Doug Marrone?
No, I mean, they're in I think, what is a tricky situation where they were win now everywhere except for at quarterback. The thing about a win now roster is, though, it turns into a lose soon roster just because of the nature of what the NFL is, injuries and everything else.
Yep.
Marrone is interesting to me because very rarely do you have a team that goes from an AFC championship game to what the expectations were of this team and to fail as colossally as they have this season, and you don't start looking at that guy being like, so what do you provide?
I have excuses to offer on behalf of Doug Marrone. If you go just to the left side of that offensive line, the left tackle is a fourth stringer. The left guard is a second stringer. The center is a second stringer. The quarterback's a second stringer. They lost their top...
No. The quarterback is the starter.
Well, now he seems to be the starter and perhaps the future starter as well. But wide receivers, pass catching tight ends, they don't have the talent. But what I don't have, Bo, is an affirmative reason to say that this guy is adding much. I don't know what excites someone if you're a Doug Marrone fan.
The thing about the collapse of this team this year, you really have to go back to the question of what are the ancillary negative things that happen as a result of you starting Blake Bortles? Because you remember in Seattle when they started talking about that whole thing fraying a bit, it was the idea that the defense felt that they were being held to a standard of perfection while the offense was expected to be somewhat mediocre, right? But the defense had to always be right. They were saying that about an offense that had Russell Wilson. So imagine what it's like every day showing up on that defense in Jacksonville. And look, you saw what happened last night. They look done. Like, I know it's a Thursday night game and everything else.
Kinda.
I don't even know if quit's the way to put it. They look like they just didn't have anything left because what you're asking them to do on a week-in, week-out basis is totally unrealistic. And what you ask that offense to do really is just don't be the worst offense we've ever seen. They can barely do that.
Yeah, the margin for error. Even last week when we saw how they played the Colts, right? The defense pitched a shutout. The defense could not have been better. In this game, it did seem like it was an accumulated bunch of stuff that led to a very talented group of players not being nearly as energized or as good at their jobs. And I do wonder, Blake Bortles leaves. The Jaguars now will definitely at this point, they will have a 9th losing season in 11 years. Is all of that goodwill from last year, it's just gone?
Well, hold on, though. Let's ask this question, though. How much better do you get by getting Blake Bortles / Cody Kessler out of there? Because there's a chance that they could make what is a significant improvement just by getting a halfway decent replacement. Like, I'm not saying they got to go out there and somehow find a way to make a trade and get Phillip Rivers or something like that. They might be able to just go get a regular old dude, right? They're not to be Kaepernick or anybody else, just a regular old dude. And presumably that will make them a lot better than they are right now with those cats they've been trotting out at quarterback. And you'll have a defense that no longer feels like their front office punted on a quarterback.
And speaking of regular old dudes, yeah. Hey, Tom Coughlin, what are you going to be up to? Because this is kind of on you as much as it is.
Ain't no kinda.
On
Ain't
that
no
dude.
kinda with Tom Coughlin. He in charge. Next name is Derrick Henry. Titans running back rushed for 238 yards and Al Bundy-esque 4 touchdowns in one game, including a 99-yard run in the second quarter. Before this, he didn't have more than 58 rushing yards in a game this season, but Pablo, Derrick Henry suddenly looked like he could be a star.
If you knew nothing about Derrick Henry, of course, he looks superstar-esque. This was a run that is incredible, that was incredible it just wasn't the only thing he did. Like the 99-yard run and him just, let's watch this here because it is worthy of our
That wasn't
imagination.
99, just so you didn't lose track how to count. This is
There
99.
it is. And we just don't see many players, Bo, who can do this, who can accelerate like this. The guy in high school was like the career leading rusher of all time. Nationally, he was the Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama. But he was also a guy losing carries to Dion Lewis and his shiftiness. And meanwhile, he says, yeah, shift this. But I don't really know what to make of this guy. What do you think?
You're not going to magically become a star in your third year as an NFL running back. We got a pretty decent handle on what he is. And what he was coming into this game was a dude averaging 3.7 yards per carry. What he was after this game was a dude averaging 4.9 yards a carry. I'll take it another step for you. The 99-yard run takes his average this year from 4.2 yards a carry to 4.9 yards a carry. He is, by and large, a dude in the NFL who had a very, very good game. If you put him in a different era, I think he could wind up being good. But you saw that run, man. Jacksonville Jaguars look a little dunzo, man. That was a bunch of dudes like, come on, man. Like, they was running close enough to do something, but they ain't look like they had the energy. And as good as that run was, just to remind you people who are prone to hyperbole, that run wasn't this run. He could have run this one 150 yards if he had to. Y'all know what I'm talking about here. I feel like, there you go.
I mean, nothing compares to this.
Off me. Through
the inside.
Hold on. Off me.
How do you physically do that?
Hold on. We're not done yet. Y'all know what it is. Give him some. That's right. Tracy Porter, off me. You know the best part about that, too?
What?
Look who they playing against.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your paper bag boys. Yes,
that's
you revel
right. That's
in
right. The whole
despair.
city should have put on paper bags after that. Replace those helmets with paper bags.
I would say that Derrick Henry's run belongs in the NFL Meme Hall of Fame, but how can you possibly be a first ballot when this exists?
Yeah, no. I mean, when his run was good. Like, it was really good.
Great.
It was 99 yards. Although Tony Dorsett's 99-yard run is worth noting was with 10 players on the Cowboys. The fullback didn't make it on the field for that play.
One
That's
fewer blocker
impressive.
for Mr. Dorsett, but Derrick Henry, man, you talked about this Jaguars team looking done. Not only the 99-yard run, he had a 54-yarder afterwards. But our last name is Carmelo Anthony. Because according to Joe Vardon of The Athletic, LeBron would like to get Melo on the Lakers. But Brad Turner of the LA Times then reported the Lakers have no interest in acquiring Melo, and LeBron hasn't talked to Magic Johnson or GM Rob Pelinka about getting Melo. So should Magic try and get Melo to, make LeBron feel good in whatever way these reports suggest?
No, what the hell are you going to do, leave? He signed a 4-year contract. We actually got to listen to nothing LeBron says, at least not in that way. Look, you got to give it to them folks on that banana boat, man. They try to take care of each other. LeBron tried to get his homeboy D-Wade a job in Cleveland. What's his name? Chris Paul tried to get Melo a job.
He did.
Down there in Houston, he got him down there, and that did not work out. I think LeBron would like to get this dude on here, but look, LeBron ain't stupid. We can't talk about LeBron's basketball mind and think that he can't tell that Melo is done.
Well,
and he is done.
This would be a test of LeBron James' ostensible shadow GM, but I think LeBron James is actually doing something kind of more relatable. He has a good friend, a really old friend dating back to when he was a teenager, and he wants that friend to know, if I'm connecting the dots accurately, that he does consider him of value. But he's just not going to hand deliver him to the GM and say, this is the guy, otherwise I will be furious. The guy, Joe Vardon, the reporter, is someone who LeBron is close to. Just connecting the dots, it seems like LeBron is trying to maybe appease Melo more than he's actually trying to make a roster change.
Well, the problem here with Melo and the idea of maybe like getting him on the payroll wherever you are is he's not content to just simply draw a check. He wants to play, okay? Now, you remember before the year when you talk about, it's going to be so funny having Michael Beasley on the team. And I was like, dude, Michael Beasley's not going to play.
And
he's going to be on the team, and he has not played. That's the job that Melo could have, right? You get Michael Beasley out of there, and Melo can ride around, but Melo don't want the shame of that.
No.
He wants, and I don't blame him, by the way, for this. He wants to be a player in a way he simply can't be a player. Guess what, baby? I want to get minutes in the NBA, too, so I can't knock him for wanting that, but neither one of us is capable of that right now.
No, as the poet of this building once said, Carmelo Anthony is bad. He's bad now. There is no getting around that. And the Lakers right now, Bo, they're actually 10th in net rating. They've won 4 in a row. I know Brandon Ingram is banged up. They have all of these nicks and all of these injuries on the roster. But the answer to that is not to get the guy who doesn't want to fill the role in the shape that void.
Look, no, like the spot they have right now is a spot that typically, like, just because it's open now doesn't mean that it's going to be open forever. Like Melo needs to deal with it. If they were to sign him, like, yo, you might get released pretty soon because we don't really need you that bad. Hey, coming up next, they're saying Tim Tebow might make the Mets. Can you believe that?
I love podcasts like High Noons and Bomani's and the one I do every morning for you people. Seaport District at Pier 17, brought to you by Chase.
I mean, I recognize that we are wrong for this, but we are not as wrong for this as he is wrong for that.
The word is raggedy. Is that more than that?
I don't even know where to believe. I'm just trying to figure out. Look like he got that lineup done with a pizza cutter. Like, look, man, I understand, he ain't making as much money as he thought he was going to, but don't save money on haircuts, baby. Go to a professional. He looked like he did it himself.
It looks like, did she cut his hair? Is that possible?
Not even he would allow that.
I would, well,
I don't think.
First quote, every night is the same bleep. Every night has been the same bleep. If you call something one way, you have to call it the other way. Once they start doing that, I'm going to have a little more respect. Said Rudy Gobert after Sunday's game against the Heat. He was fined $15K for these comments, but was not done beefing with officials. Let's watch what happened in the first 3 minutes of last night's game. Opening tip.
He got called a foul on the. He can call a foul on the tip. It did look like a foul, by the way.
And this is where he grows very, very angry. The Harden flop. I mean, oh wow, that's objectively a
I'd
flop.
be upset. Oh,
and there it is.
You almost hit Roz in the face, man. You got suspended for a month if you'd have done that.
That man was very, very angry. Woo! The slow-mo replay captures that much. This was his first technical of the game, Bo. The ejection is forthcoming. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, that'll get you ejected.
Is it warranted?
Yeah, you can't do that, right? Like that. I understand where they were coming from, but let's be clear. Somehow, a great shock is that he is becoming the Rasheed Wallace of his generation in the sense he got it out for the refs have it out for him, and they are going to get him as quickly as they possibly can. He's going to have to recognize that I'll show respect. When they show respect, they're going to keep showing you to the locker room. You're going to have to make a decision.
Oh, he's on their watch list now, and this is, look, the NBA embraces the soap opera, embraces beef, embraces interpersonal conflict, but not with the officials. That is where their sense of humor completely drains out. But what happens when you're a millennial, future Rasheed Wallace, Bo, and you get kicked out of a game? You go to the locker room and do this. Please roll that.
Here. Oh, Rudy Gobert working out.
Just start thirst trapping, exercise, get the followers up as, yeah, let's get it, fellas, is playing in the background. I don't know if Rasheed would have done that.
I don't know. Like, that is an interesting thing. What would happen if Rasheed Wallace grew up with a camera phone in his pocket?
I would love him to, live Periscope as much as possible.
It would be a lot of NBA jam. Quote, Tim Tebow is one step away. Says Mets general manager Brody Van Wagenen about how far Tebow is away from getting to the major leagues. Pablo, we're really going to see him play for the Mets.
I know you have PTSD about the Tim Tebow era in the NFL, Bo. Understandably so. I must obviously clarify, Tim Tebow, born in the Philippines, member of the ESPN Filipino Cultural Society that I founded. Obviously, all that's true. I do agree that if he were to make the Mets, he'd be leapfrogging probably a lot of qualified minor leaguers who do this, really do this. But come July, Bo, and everyone needs content, the Mets included, I feel like this is quite plausible.
So here's my thing, as you got to my point before I make the point here that I don't want to go back through that thing again. He's not good at anything, right? He was a legendary college football player, and that's okay. You know who else was a legendary college football player? Jason White. He was a great college football player. Eric Crouch. He was a great football player. There's all kinds of guys who fit that description. This dude is not a professional athlete in any way, yet continues to ascend to levels that he has no business getting to. Why? Because content. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's great content for the macro level of the industry.
Yes.
Maybe you guys enjoy laughing and arguing about Tim Tebow. Some of y'all believe he's legitimately magic. I'm here to tell you, I can't get out here and deal with this again, because what's going to happen if he comes out here is weird stuff is going to start happening. In spite of him not playing well, strike out 4 times, he going to have a squeeze play button to get somebody in for a week. The next thing you know, the Mets are going to be coming back, and they're going to be 2 games out of first place, and he's going to stink while he's doing it, but y'all are going to be like, Tebow is magic. And I am going to consider quitting this job because every day I'm going to show up and hear about him being from the Philippines.
Well, that will happen, but I also don't want to be too loud. I think I saw him in the hallway before.
What are you going to go do, throw something at me?
He is very strong. Last quote. He ran into a lion in the jungle. Said Vegas Golden Knights forward Ryan Reeves after concussing Capitals forward Tom Wilson. After the game, Reeves created controversy by autographing photos of the hit being sold by a memorabilia company. Let's watch the hit first, please.
Only has a couple of helpers.
Let's
11:42
see
the
here.
time.
I think we got an arrow.
Yeah.
We go. Got an arrow for you.
20th on the season.
Boom.
Wilson got hit again.
Stick flying.
Boom.
Never really a good indicator.
Now, just so you know, they made a reference to Wilson in the play. That the guy that you're going to see in the video, his last name is not Wilson, though I could understand why you might think so.
Fair enough.
That's not Wilson. Wilson's on the ground.
That is Reeves. That is Wilson being helped off the ice.
Yikes.
And yeah, this did not look good. And
Just looking at his pass and ran into a line in the jungle.
Straight face.
And there is the photograph. He ran into a line in the jungle, autographed on the top, the John Hancock on the bottom. After the backlash, Bo, all the photos have been taken off the website. The Vegas Golden Knights say the hard copies have been destroyed. Is this all an overreaction?
No, they can't do this. Like this, the NFL has had this problem in the past where they had these hits that they have penalized people for, and then they sell pictures of them while they're trying to eradicate this from the game. The thing we got to remember about hockey is they got people suing them just like the NFL's got people suing them about concussions. That is not something they can do. But what you have to recognize, hey, man, part of why these guys got into this in many cases is they enjoy knocking the hell out of people.
Yes.
So the lion in the jungle is going to love his work. You just probably shouldn't sell it.
One correction, Lions live in savannas. But coming up next, Giannis on pace for the most dunks ever. Like in all time.
Hey, why hasn't Rudy Gobert just started cussing the refs out in French? Like, don't you think that will work?
That is a great strategy. The baseball players have taught us that a lot can be said without ever actually being heard as such. But today's number, 375. That is how many dunks Giannis is on pace for this season, which would crush Dwight Howard's record of 266. Bo, how big of a deal should we make this?
I mean, look, in this era, to be able to get to the rim like that when you can pack in the lanes in ways that you could not do in previous times, that's pretty damn impressive that he would be there doing this. Like, we think of him as being such a perimeter player. He's averaging like 13 boards a game right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I am here for this. All these kids that would have stand in their driveways far away and turn it into the next Steph Curry, this is why we like watching basketball, stuff like that. Get some, Blake. This is what we're here for.
But Bo, as much as I love this, I love all of this, to tell the kids of America, be like this guy, it's like, okay, do they go, have like surgery on their bodies? This guy is singular. He is historical, isn't he?
You don't get it. The kids who can't do this, I don't want to watch them play basketball. Like, you are supposed to get another body? No, go hit those books, work on your grades, work on some math, become an engineer. This is what it is, man.
I would love more people to do this, but I actually fear that Giannis is kind of doing this a little bit too much because there are only so many dunks, Bo. Science, articles by Tom Haberstroh, they all indicate that if you dunk too much, there are consequences on your legs. I just want him to do this for as long as possible, and he's breaking this record by over 100-something. I worry about that.
More than Dwight Howard, like DeAndre Jordan numbers, that's cool. And while you're right, maybe people only have so many dunks in their legs, and I understand why you would be like, oh, don't dunk the ball too much. That makes me ask, how many dunks you got in your legs?
I have.
Because I feel like the non-dunking population out here is always like, don't be out here dunking too much. I'm out here like, man, dunking is the greatest feeling in the world.
How many dunks do you have in your legs?
More than yours, buddy.
And the number is?
And more, I don't know how many I got left, but I've had them in the past. I got them in my legs. I got them in my arms. I can do like that Michael Jordan poster where you stand there with the balls in your hands. That's right. Only people telling you not to dunk can't dunk. We want to make them feel better about themselves. Why are you looking at the camera right now?
The number is 1. He has 1 dunk.
That was a dunk in a game that almost got
Where's the bell? Is there a bell anywhere?
Tell me about that game that you dunked on. I'm assuming it involved your 3-year-old niece.
Thank you, G.
Wow, it's almost like you really do hate on people who can dunk.
In closing.
Looking at the camera like it was your turn.
Please.
In closing, I'd like to give you news on criminal justice in Buffalo. See, the Bills needed people to help shovel snow at New Era Field, so they offered people $12 an hour, 2 meals, and a ticket to see the Bills play the Jets. I don't know about you, but that sounds like something a judge would make you do if you got caught riding dirty. You got to perform community service. You get like some little bit of money for your labor. You get 2 hots. I don't even know if they hot, by the way. And seriously, what sounds more like a jail sentence than watching the Bills and the Jets in the cold? Why would you do this?
I thought that NFL franchises were worth like billions of dollars. This feels like something that is not only cruel, but also unnecessary. Why are you trying to scam the people of your city?
No, it's because people in these cold weather places think there's like something communal about getting together and shoveling snow. Like they think they're helping somebody. They walk past a homeless person, but they'll go out here and do this for the Bills.
They want to shovel the snow so they can smuggle the things into the arena and throw them onto the field as Buffalo Bills fans are wont to do. We know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, these people are weird, and I don't understand that.
That's fair.
In closing, I'd like to stay local and take you out to Brooklyn, where it is 4:30 a.m., and this man, he's not going to rest until he gets exactly what he ordered at the speed that he demands. Let's watch.
Yo.
Yo. The boy.
Yo.
There is an APB apparently out for this man. The police are looking for this gentleman, but Bomani, we obviously disagree about dunks and all things associated with dunks, but we do agree on something, right? That order, cinnamon raisin bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese, that's my order, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty delicious.
Yeah, no, that's pretty dope. Now, for you New York people, this is what's supposed to be in Bushwick, right?
East Williamsburg.
Yeah. So we got a lot going on here in the sense that that gentleman who still looks more like the Bushwick of old and that bodega looks a bit like the Bushwick of new. And apparently it's too much of the Bushwick of new because the Bushwick of old, there'd have been something behind that counter to get that dude to calm the hell all the way down.
By the way, why do you want that guy to make your bagel after you yell at him? I feel like he'll put some other ingredients in there.
Luckily in the
Maybe.
bodega, you can keep your eye on him. That might be able to save.